Okay, so this is my audience. And I'm doing my persuasive, let's see, where am I going to do my persuasive speech, and my PowerPoint will be presented on my tablet. All right. Okay, in the beginning, no, not that beginning, but the beginning of the forming of the United States of America, there were no political parties. At the time the Constitution was written, there were no parties, and we were able to come together to form a more perfect union, one nation under God. That was no small feat, considering the formation of America involved many variations of colonies with different beliefs, rules, religion, and separate ideas on the purpose of forming. Perhaps there were simply all in favor, and they said aye, followed by those opposed saying nay. There were no computers to keep track of the numbers, no polls to report who would win what state, and no miscounted votes in the red or the blue states. We simply sat down, made decisions with the best interests of the citizens and the country in mind. Today I'm going to talk to you about the parties and why they were formed. The basis for creation has always been to improve for the environment of the time, but it has also set a precedent of separation. In January 2014, Gallup compiled a poll recognizing that Americans reached an all-time high of 42% identifying as independents when it came to selecting a party affiliation. Democrats are at 31%, while Republicans are at 25%. In 1792, the Democratic Party was formed on the idea that government should represent the people and that wealth and status should not be an entitlement to rule. Fair enough, I can agree with this. How about you? In 1789, it became the Democratic Republican Party. Yes, we did agree at one time. The Republican Party then formed to pull away from opposition of human enslavement and government tyranny. Again, something I can agree with. In 1971, along came the Libertarian Party, formed to give a third option to stand for the natural right of sole dominion over their own lives, liberty, and property. Sounds good to me. In 1992, the Constitution Party decided that someone had to secure the blessing of liberty and uphold the principle of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. Since this is what our country is built on, I think it's a reasonable idea, don't you? And the Green Party formed in 1996. Their views showed the importance of the local state level making decisions with their budgets, within their budgets and resources. Each state should be responsible for maximizing their economy based on their local human needs and resources. So far, so good. There are many other parties that have formed over the years. As many as 60 have been counted in any given year since 2008. The one thing each of them agree on is that there is a need for a better way. The total cost of the 2012 presidential election was more than $2.6 billion. If candidates were unaffiliated with a party, this would easily be reduced. Just think of all the mudslinging ads you wouldn't have to watch. If you notice, before you mute them, most of the ads are sponsored by the opposing party. $2.6 billion, wasted on telling you the problems of the other party. $2.6 billion. Does your school need this money? Is there enough in $2.6 billion to create jobs, solve healthcare issues? The similarities of the parties at their core is that the people are cared for, the country prospers, and the rights of the citizens sustained. The problem comes in the how. We all know there is no one answer in such a diverse country as America. We Americans are vastly varied. Views on religion, politics, economics. Not one of these things are easily agreed upon, and certainly not represented by 100% by any one political party. That's the point. There is a gun-toting Democrat and a tax-cutting Republican, both of whom agree to improve American schools and provide affordable medical care. Everyone agrees on taxes. They suck. How much to tax and what to spend it on will never be agreed upon, certainly not by a party affiliation. There is no good reason to have a party affiliation if it does not improve the problem. There is a website, 100 Ways Republicans Are Just Like Democrats. It shows the very many things that they agree upon, and that the funding the parties receive comes from very many of the same places. If you had to choose between the party that you usually vote for, even if you did not agree with their stance, would you cast your vote for the opposing party's candidate or leave that bubble blank? How tied to your political party are you? If there were no party to stand with, would it lead you to focus on what the candidate fights for? Do you really care if they voted with or against the president? No. You care about the issue they voted for or against. So why did you vote for your red or blue candidate if you know nothing about them? James Klingman says, "We say we have voting power, but we have settled merely for the power to vote. We fight for the right to vote, but we fail to vote right." Voting is a means to gain political power, not an end, that simply allows one to participate in the act. As true as those statements are, and as many times as we have heard the phrase, "This is the most important election of our time," and as much as we can see our lack of political reciprocity for our precious votes, we continue to fall for the same old tired political claptrap prior to every election. This is a lot of information, so let's sum it up. If we take away political parties, the candidates can run on their records and where they stand on the issues. Voters will be more apt to educate themselves on what the person stands for. We could have a general election fund, cutting out all the other party contributions. The politicians will police themselves by sticking to the issue and not the election and not the party affiliation. The amount spent on elections and buying votes will be left for making changes. And the focus will be on settling for a solution issue by issue. The first president of the United States, George Washington, was not a member of any political party at the time of his election or throughout his tenure as president. Furthermore, he hoped that political parties would not be formed, fearing conflict and stagnation. As outlined in his farewell address, what great foresight. Don't vote party affiliation. Vote the issue, investigate the candidate, and use your vote for a solution. And there's my audience.